Hello from the Berkeley, California, Claremont Public Library near College Avenue and Ashby on Monday, November 10th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Pacific time from World University and School, like MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages, or building on MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages, and Wikipedia in about 342 languages. So as we wait to see if people will join this open WUAS weekly business meeting, loosely conducted in the manner of Quakers, friends, unprogrammed friends, I'd like to share a little news and with an agenda with you, and to also post the recording of today's WUAS news and question and answer to World University and School's main YouTube channel presently, youtube.com/video/at Scott McCloud World University/videos. So, dear university and friends all, here are the best STEAM Creative Commons licensed OpenCourseWare wiki, Grow with Google WUAS World University and School, WUAS Weekly Business Meeting, WUAS News and Question and Answer Agenda and News for both Monday, 11/03/2025, last week, and today, Monday, 11/10/2025, to season for a week and to invite feedback and your thinking in a variety of ways. And they're in the Togiak National Wildlife Refuge, Alaska blog post on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. The agenda and news for today's November 10th, 2025 question and answer is posted from last week on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. So again, with the nonprofit wing, the nonprofit 501c3 U.S. federal legal entity wing, which URL presently is worlduniversityandschool.org, and the for-profit general stock company legal entity in California wing, worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, still sharing the same root domain. How best to code for both wings' AI platforms? Build them out in 200 countries and in all 7,159 living languages, and potentially in WUAS seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, each a Wikidata PIN number from you at World University and School, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/you at World University. Plan for 1 or 2 bank accounts still. And regarding developing the 501c3 Candid GuideStar profile, and that guidestar.org/profile/27-3105368 profile. And possibly even at the same time, multi-listing the WUAS Corporation on many stock exchanges, but starting with one stock exchange, one board or 2 boards, and in seeking to use AI in the boardrooms, World University and Schools boardroom or boardrooms. Perhaps some WUAS boards for this will emerge further in communication with Stanford Law Rock Center. In these regards, WUAS is glad to have attended at Stanford Law Rock Center in the main Stanford Law building on Stanford's campus. The Corporate Law at the Crossroads presentations on October 29th, 2025, about Delaware corporations, with the Secretary of State from Delaware and the Delaware Chancellor both giving talks in this meeting. And see more about this in the blog post beginning Small World Pagonia. So for World University and School, the question of whether to possibly incorporate both wings further in Delaware has emerged after attending this. Would we further incorporate in Delaware as a 501c3 nonprofit on the World University and School.org wing? And at the same time, would we further incorporate the second WUS corporation wing in the state of Delaware as a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, as both information technology platforms, World University and School nonprofit on the one hand, and WUS Corporation for-profit on the other hand, develop further, and from potentially the same root domain, World University and School.org. So greetings further from free best STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, CC, Creative Commons, OpenCourseWare Wiki, Grow with Google, WUS, World University and School. So World University and School, like Wikipedia in 342 languages and MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages to build from, continues to grow and develop. And regarding previous versions of OpenCourseWare, and I'm not using the MIT name specifically here, but you can see some previous versions of OpenCourseWare, which are MIT OpenCourseWare, at these URLs: opencw.apprende.org/courses/translated-courses, which list the 6 translated languages that MIT has moved into from English as the 7th language. And it also lists at opencw.apprende.org/courses about 38 majors that emerge from MIT OpenCourseWare as created, or departments, I should say, 38 departments, which could become majors and degree programs, which emerge from a previous version of this OpenCourseWare. Check them out. Check out the languages. If you know those languages, look into some of the courseware. MIT OpenCourseWare's Creative Commons 4 license, which says 1, anyone can share it freely. Great. 2, but and anyone can add it to AI and machine learning. So all these 7 languages courseware can potentially be further developed into all 200 countries, main languages, possibly 100 languages for free degrees because of this CC4 licensing and with AI and machine learning. And check out the courses in your languages. See what you think. Would those courses be something you would invite your kids to study from for free online World University and School degrees from home with all their remarkable STEM or STEAM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, riches, knowledge-wise? And so World University and School, WUS, continues to grow and develop. And via this wiki, World University and School, WUS News and Question and Answer, which meets on Mondays, next on today, Monday, November 10th, and at 9 a.m. Mexico City time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Mountain time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, US and Canada, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, Western Europe, I think, and the British Isles, for example, 10:30 p.m. India time, 1 a.m. Tuesday, the next day, Hong Kong time. But please check your time converter from any of your 24 time zones to join this open WUAS weekly business meeting with your questions and answers and your thinking in conversation potentially, since this business meeting is open and loosely conducted in the manner of unprogrammed friends Quakers. And the Zoom URL, which you will have already gotten, is posted now about 7 or 8 days before the next WS monthly weekly business meeting. Click the Zoom meeting and come join the WUS weekly business meeting. Help grow World University and School with your thinking, your ideas, your sharing. Are these WUS weekly business meetings an innovative kind of unprogrammed friends, NTF, non-theist friend, NTQ, non-theist Quaker monthly business meeting? Perhaps. What are the next steps in coding 501c3, World University and Schools GuideStar profile? Since it seems to be a little bit in process, guidestar.org seems to be developing and a tiny bit in disarray in its possible affiliation also with the IRS as it develops with AI and machine learning. So next steps in coding, 501c3, hashtag World Univ and SCH, GuideStar profile. And for hashtag Candid GuideStar, affiliated with the IRS. Looking forward to the Candid GuideStar web platform continuing to develop, and so that our 501c3 World University and School nonprofit can also grow with that IT platform, which could be an enormous help, and with its affiliation with the IRS. The Hack for Social Impact, second year, 2025, happened this past weekend, Saturday, November 8th, and Sunday, November 9th in San Francisco, which I went to both days for, and it was fascinating. More about that later. All the best abolitionally, a best STEAM, Creative Commons licensed, OpenCourseWare, Wiki, World Univ and SCH. Hashtag WUAS abolition movement is growing. And you can read more about that in the blog post from July of 2025 in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/2025/07/Lotus Kamala Padma.html. Friendly Quaker greetings, Scott. And the recording will be posted to our main current World University and School YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Scott-McCloud World University /videos. The Twitter, X, and the LinkedIn postings from last week for this announcement, for this meeting this morning, also focused on next steps in coding 501c3 World University and School. The next steps for Candid GuideStar, affiliated with the IRS, coding for the GuideStar platform and for 501c3 World University and School. And check those out. So first wing of World University and School, WUAS, the first of two WUAS wings. 501c3, similar, a nonprofit. Check out the GuideStar profile. CC licensed, best STEAM OpenCourseWare wing, which is also Wiki. World University and School and the website for that with the tax ID numbers also, but also the proposed majors in a beginning way that we have, and a number of the links to joining or moving into a realistic virtual Earth for languages, for countries, are all on that page, worlduniversityandschool.org. Agenda item 0. So the recording of the World University and School WUS Press Wiki WUS News and Question and Answer from 10/27, 2 weeks ago, which also had a focus on a little short MIT video called This is MIT. And for all potentially hashtag WUS universities in all languages is up on the main World University and School YouTube channel. So fascinating to see MIT's science happening in this brief 4 or 5 minute video, and where World University and Schools, universities, and Wiki World University and School seeks to grow with and beyond MIT OpenCourseWare, which emerges from MIT and in beyond the 7 languages that MIT OpenCourseWare is in. Set of Twitter, X, and LinkedIn posts, and you can find out more about that in the blog post from October of 2025, beginning Mount Hood, Clackamas Wilderness, Oregon, on both blogs, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com and worlduniversityandschool.blogspot.com. Agenda item 1, beginning with the species, small world Pagonia, a blog post about corporate law at the crossroads, and which happened. It's a series of presentations at the Stanford Law Rock Center for Corporate Governance, and some WUS questions about incorporating further in the state of Delaware as 1 or even 2 corporations, or Dear Delaware Chancellor Kathleen McCormick and State of Delaware Secretary of State Charuni Patibanda Sanchez and Stanford Law Rock Center, great to talk with you about Best Steam CC OpenCourseWare Wiki World University and School, and a 501c3 nonprofit, and the WUS Corporation, worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, a for-profit general stock company in the state of California, which is a C corporation. So I went up and talked with Delaware Chancellor Kathleen McCormick and the Secretary of State for the state of Delaware, Charuni Patibanda Sanchez, afterward. And it was great to connect in person, as well as with some other officials from the state of Delaware who were also there. They brought an impressive delegation from the state of Delaware to Stanford Law Rock Center, this presentation, these talks. So, dear Stanford Law Dean Sterling, Delaware Chancellor Kathleen McCormick, State of Delaware Secretary of State Charuni Patibanda Sanchez, Stanford Law Rock Center, Peter Norvig, Google AI Director and Stanford Distinguished Education Fellow, all. Greetings. As a follow-up, and per your request to email you, how would you respond to the following questions in this email I sent yesterday to you, Kathleen McCormick, and Delaware Secretary of State Charuni Patibanda Sanchez, and Stanford Rock Center? Dear Dean Sterling, per the following questions, would WUS best possibly incorporate further as 1 corporation or 2 in the state of Delaware? And brainstorming, further create 1 or 2 boards? And could Stanford Law students even become intern board of directors at WUAS and work with Stanford Law faculty too, and with agentic AI and other kinds of board AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning, board of trustees, board of directors? WUS really doesn't have a board to speak of whatsoever, and I share with them the World University Foundation page, which is at wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki World University Foundation, which you can edit too. if you want to share ideas in these regards, for example, and come into conversation with World University and School about the board via our wiki on the World University Foundation page. Thanks, best regards, friendly Quaker greetings, yogically, cheers kindly, Scott G.K. McLeod. So I blogged about some of this also in my daily blog, which the blog post begins small world Pagonia, SMALLWHORLED in October of 2025 in scott-mcleod.blogspot.com. And further, I also asked them and wrote to them, thanks so much for your Stanford Law Rock Center presentations on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025, and at Corporate Law at the Crossroads. And could that even possibly refer, they didn't address these questions, but to World University and School and the WUAS Corporation having these two wings, and how would the state of Delaware's corporation law approach such questions regarding the U.S. federal government and in what's happening next in corporate law if there were a nonprofit and a for-profit in a specific state that were both wings of one growing world university and school. And for bringing thanks also for bringing such an impressive delegation with you from Delaware. Great to meet you and Arlene Norman, the state of Delaware's Attorney General, and great to talk with you about Best Steam CC OpenCourseWare Wiki World University and School and the WUS Corporation with those two web pages and with their tax IDs at the bottom. And Charuni Patibanda Sanchez had asked if me at Stanford Law Rock Center in room 190, if the WUS Corporation, World University and School.org/academicpress.html is a C corporation in the state of California. And yes, I think it is. So we want to offer, I continued writing to them to explain our situation, and in seeking to grow a conversation in these regards, and in World University and School, possibly exploring incorporation in the state of Delaware based on our three legal entities, our two tax-exempt entities, US 501c3 federal legal entity, and a tax-exempt entity in the state of California on the World University and School.org site, and the for-profit General Stock Company legal entity in the state of California on the World University and School Academic Press, WUS Corporation, WUS Educational Services Stores side. And with World University and School being in a Grow with Google WUS program and in planning to develop in 200 countries as major world-class online research universities, and in all 50 US states for free, accrediting WUAS degrees, bachelor, PhD, law, MD, Ivy, high school, or similar, AAAS, and master's degrees, online from home, and potentially in all 200 countries' main languages, and possibly even these free degrees in all 7,159 known living languages. And also, World University and School seeks to grow as wiki schools for open teaching and learning for speakers of all 7,159 known living languages to facilitate free universal education that's wiki and free universal education with these degree programs in all 200 countries and probably their main languages and a few more from home, free to students, building on MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages and Yale Open Yale courses, and courses that World University and School translates that would also be Creative Commons licensed, potentially in our Grow with Google WUS program. And with the WS Corporation planning to develop in all 200 countries per the Olympics, and in all 7,159 known living languages for an academic press at WUS, with machine and human translation. And think Oxford University Press in 50 languages, 50 plus languages. And as a physical digital WUS educational services stores for books, computers, robotics, groceries, hospital technologies, and so much more. And think Walmart, which is in about 19 out of 200 countries, where WUS seeks to be in all 200 countries, leaving another 181 countries also for WUS to develop in. Uniquely, WUS seeks to develop in a realistic virtual earth. Hashtags on hashtag Twitter X, hashtag LinkedIn, and hashtag for everything, a realistic virtual earth for everything. Hashtag for STEAM field sites for research, hashtag for classrooms, hashtag for publishing, hashtag for retail, hashtag for evolutionary biology, hashtag for genetics. And think the group buildable 3D virtual world of Second Life with Google Street View, with Time Slider, Gmaps, G-Earth, TensorFlow AI, and at the G-Cell view, G-Molecule view, G-Atom view, hashtag G-Qubit view, all basic units of biology, physics, chemistry levels, and hashtag for genetics, hashtag for aging reversal, hashtag for extreme longevity plus also. As I mentioned, WUS also has partnering email from Stanford MindPi, cryptocurrency, free money daily. And you can get your MindPi, your Pi cryptocurrency daily, free money daily, with this invitation code from this URL on your smartphone by simply clicking 2 buttons, taking less than 5 seconds and getting a few Pi coins every day. mindpi.com/SGKMAC. And in seeking to code for speakers of all 7,159 living languages. And then to most of all seek to code for most of all 7.9 billion people on the planet. From here at World University, each a Wikidata PIN number. WS seeks to develop not only wiki universal free education people to people for most of all these people, but also to end poverty worldwide. Could WUS receive reimbursement from all 50 US states, departments of education, as reimbursement for free online degrees, and from home, emerging from CC4 licensed, MIT OCW in 7 languages, where CC4 licensing says 3 things. 1, anyone can share CC4 licensed OCW freely. 2, anyone can adapt it, e.g. with AI and ML. But 3, non-commercially, as WUS can't seek tuition. And also, can we seek reimbursement from all 200 countries' departments of education? And could even all 200 countries' central banks purchase Stanford MindPi from the WUS Corporation with our partnering email from Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency? And in WUS seeking to make Pi cryptocurrency a main worldwide cryptocurrency, and to end poverty worldwide too. And could the WUS Corporation multi-list on many stock exchanges, possibly one in each of all 200 countries, and beginning with something like the NASDAQ and the Silicon Valley Long-Term Stock Exchange, and with our beginning websites still sharing the same root, worlduniversityandschool.org. How to develop the 501c3 legal entity so WUS could get grants, e.g. from the US federal government and philanthropies, receive tax-deductible donations, generate related revenue, and do other 501c3 activity. And concurrently, potentially multi-list the WUS Corporation, our other wing, on many stock exchanges. With corporate law at the crossroads, and if WUS were to somehow develop even as one or two corporations and in the state of Delaware, it seems highly improbable that WUS could list a 501c3 World University and School as a stock company, or that the WUS Corporation could receive US federal government grants for educational reimbursement, for example, to grow our for-profit WUS academic press in 7 languages, and for our for-profit WUS educational services stores, possibly brainstorming all with Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency as a key medium of cryptocurrency exchange. Thoughts? So I haven't heard back from them directly. I got a Stanford Law Rock Center video of the presentation that preceded this corporate law at the Crossroads presentations. But read more about this in the blog post beginning Small World Pagonia. Agenda item 2, and see agenda item, one of the first agenda items in the WS Corporation wing below as well. I think it's A. So next steps in coding 501c3 World University and School GuideStar for Candid GuideStar affiliated with the IRS. Next steps for Candid GuideStar affiliated with the IRS in coding 501c3 World University and School. And I share a World University and School's GuideStar profile URL. Wondered whether I would learn further about possibilities ahead in these regards at the Hack for Social Impact hackathon yesterday and Saturday. But not at this point. Great to meet some people from Google and possibly regarding coding next steps on both wings, maybe within the Google Cloud, to be seen. So for World University and School beginning to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, each a Wikidata PIN number from you at World University and School, starting with coding for speakers of each of all 7,159 known living languages, and to facilitate free, universal, free, free WUS degrees, to facilitate free WUS degrees, as well as wiki schools for people to people wiki teaching and wiki learning in all these languages. For which I filled out the Hack for Social Impact forum. I'm glad to have gotten an invitation to this hackathon from, or an announcement of this from Stanford Law Codex and from Roland Vogel. In these regards, I'm glad that there might be a Stanford Law Codex and Stanford Law connection with this Code for Social Impact hackathon. So agenda item 3, in a blog post beginning Spring Basin Wilderness, Oregon. A Reed College informed Hume 101 required course at free online Best Steam CC OpenCourseware Wiki World University and School in the college at World University and School with that URL, wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/the college at World University and School, possibly called Humanities 101, and at Iran World University and School in Persian, China World University and School in Mandarin and Cantonese, etc. In Nigeria, WUAS, possibly in its 8 main languages. In Russian, WUAS. In Russia, WUAS. In Russian. Kenya, WUAS. In Swahili, especially, but other languages in Kenya. In East Africa, Japan, WUAS in Japanese. New Guinea, WUAS in many languages. Germany and Austria WUAS in German, and Switzerland World University and School in its 4 languages, French, German, Italian, and Romansh, all from the nation states wiki subject page. So could we offer a Reed College informed Hume 101 required first year course in the college at World University and School in each of these countries, in each of their main languages, and other countries, all other countries, and in their main languages? Is this a good idea? Does World University and School want to make a required course of Humanities 101 integral to our educational process? And as we seek to revolutionize education, also with machine learning and AI, World University in School. Stay tuned. All of this could be developed further with AI and machine learning, agentic AI too. But bringing it up in this weekly business meeting to explore further these ideas. Would we retain students with this Hume 101 course? If possibly we could also, for example, offer the science course that I was a global listener in this spring, called How to Grow Almost Anything, synthetic biology course out of MIT and Harvard, where George Church was one of the professors. He's both a Harvard and MIT professor in the Harvard Medical School, and David Sun Kong was another professor. And it had registered students from MIT and Harvard. It had global listeners such as myself. It had committed listeners also. Could such students, particularly those who might apply to MIT and Harvard and become registered students, be the kind of students we might, World University and School might matriculate, who might be focused on completing Humanities 101 as a required first year course in our free online bachelor's degrees, possibly our free online Associate of Arts degrees, Associate of Science degrees too. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Spring Basin, Wilderness, Oregon, Reed College. Agenda item 4. To develop this free a mini course from a video talk I gave quite some years ago, I think in 2007. It's an hour long. It's titled The Information Technology Revolution, History and Geography. To develop this free mini course, The Information Technology Revolution, History and Geography, with a free WUS certificate further on the main courses wiki page, I added this course to wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/courses. I'm very grateful to RIFI in Sri Lanka of the Freedom College for having helped to make this hour-long video a mini course with a certificate, and also have helped to add it to World University and School's courses page with the certificate easily available after watching the video. And then created open and close. So I explained how I add this reference. RIFI could do this in the future. You could do this as well. Read the blog post. And it begins Spring Basin, Wilderness, Oregon, Reed College. Agenda item 5. Newly pinned to SGK McLeod on Twitter X, WUS, all languages, which is the Twitter X feed. Best STEAM open courseware. Bachelor, PhD, Law, MD, IB, high school, AA, AS in 200 countries. So I started to remove MIT OpenCourseWare centric from all of World University and Schools profiles and similar, and not use MIT OpenCourseware-centric anymore, and instead added this to the top of the WS All Languages Twitter X feed, which is SGK McLeod. Free World University. It's free at World Univ and SCH in hashtag Grow with Google WUS program is working on accreditation and applying for free CC Best, STEAM, OpenCourseware, Bachelor, PhD, Law, MD, IB, High School, AA, and MS in 200 countries and main languages. Email president@worlduniversityandschool.org with Q's, questions. Teach at Open WUS, hashtag WUS wikis now. And see more in the blog post beginning, Red Not Bird, in October of 2025 in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com's blog. Agenda item 6, possible Pakistan Medical School at WUS at Pakistan World University and School in Urdu, possibly in Punjabi and Pashto, and in collaboration with Stanford Medicine too. Heard a recent Stanford Medicine talk titled MedVal Toward Expert Level Medical Text Validation with Language Models by Asad Ali, MS. Thanks to Jonathan Chen's posting this on his Twitter feed, who's a Stanford Medicine MD, PhD computer scientist. Thanks, Stanford Medicine's Asad Ali, MS, John C, Jonathan Chen, John C 101X, for helpful intro to MedVal regarding how hashtag medical language models work too. Found MedVal Toward Expert Level, an article in archive.org. How best to collaborate to develop free at World Univ and SCH, hashtag WUS Med School SCH degrees from the World University and Medical School at online hashtag Pakistan WUAS and the beginning Pakistan World University and School link, which is only in English so far. And in the Urdu language, planned in Urdu, and a LinkedIn post about that. And retweeting Jonathan Chen's announcement of this interesting talk about this AI software for medical text validation. That's in a blog post beginning Central Karkaran National Park in October of 2025 in scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. Agenda item 7. Could this be one Google research team from Google and for Google Earth AI who could help WUS build out a realistic virtual Earth for academic subjects? And regarding Peter Norvig's incredible Toolify AI WUS article, and retweeted this video from a Google research team at Google Earth AI. Could they be World University and Schools contacts for building out a realistic virtual Earth initially, and with their projects, which some of which are academic focused, and could they further develop possibly research approaches in Google Earth for all 42 proposed majors at World University and School that I put together from MIT OpenCourseware? And see also the video transforming planetary data into actionable intelligence, Google Earth AI, Google Research. And that's in the blog post titled Central Karakoram National Park in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. So I was visiting the real Harbin Hot Springs a few Mondays ago, 2 or 3 Mondays ago, and it made me wonder how best in a home bathtub in a realistic virtual Harbin to create the contrast between the Harbin warm pool at the real Harbin Hot Springs and the just right too hot Harbin hot pool at the real hot springs. How to make this contrast happen in our home bathrooms, possibly, for the Harbin experience in visiting a realistic virtual Harbin from home, for example. So there's a fairly recent YouTube video regarding an onsen that has new kinds of technologies that are sort of immersive and would work well in a digital mask. As you moved your head, you would see different angles, for example, of a hot springs, and you could be in your home bathtub as you were soaking. And you could develop a virtual Harbin hot springs out of these information technologies. World University and School seeks to do this in a myriad ways. And for my 7th Harbin Hot Springs ethnographic book project, potentially published from Google Street View with time slider text in the sidebar, both to paper and to new digital hardware formats like digital masks, but also a WUS multimedia room that could be in our bathrooms, for example, so that we could get the benefits of soaking for possibly the relaxation response meditation of warm water that warm water might induce or facilitate. Google AI Studio is another place where people could start to build out a virtual Harbin hot springs, and I've created a set of tweets about that. Asked Google AI Studio, which is another form of generative conversational artificial intelligence, to aistudio.google.com, how best to create the beginning of a realistic virtual Harbin hot springs warm pool with onsen, with the onsen video, with the YouTube's technologies that are unique, sitting on the Harbin hot springs warm pool's front bench near the Harbin warm pool's front stairs, looking toward the Harbin hot pool room doorway. So besides creating the contrast between the warm and the hot pool at Harbin virtually for exploring at home, how best also to create sitting in the front of the Harbin warm pool, looking towards the doorway into the hot pool, for being in a WS multimedia realistic virtual Harbin hot springs, or in a WS or in a digital mask, for example. Check out the Onsen YouTube with innovative technologies, the Onsen YouTube video. And you can see that at the blog post from October of 2025, beginning Loch Mialt, Isle of Skye, Scotland, in my blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. Agenda item 9, email after conversation. This is regarding an email after a conversation in the Moraga Public Library regarding eliciting loving bliss neurophysiology, and also with the same person regarding the Cromarty dialect in Scotland, now extinct, and how to de-extinct it at WUAS with Avatar Agents conversational generative AI. Regarding our conversation about eliciting loving bliss or neural cascades of pleasure, and regarding your focus on promotion too, John, again, nice to meet and talk with you. Regarding our conversation about eliciting loving bliss neurophysiology or neuro cascades of pleasure, and regarding your focus on promotion too, possibly, yeah, and in one conceiving as if playing one's body-mind as a musical instrument, or regarding a related on-off switch. So could one elicit loving bliss almost as if one played one's body-mind, like playing a musical instrument, reading from musical scores, listening to music? Could one even turn on and off loving bliss neurophysiology, brain chemistry, like an on-off switch? And how further? So 1, here are the guidelines for practicing a musical instrument I mentioned, which I found useful in playing now the Scottish small pipes, for example. Guidelines for practicing a musical instrument by Wynton Marsalis and Yo-Yo Ma. You can see those at scottmccloud.com/guidelines practicing musical instrument.htm. And here's a riff with the above, brainstorming. So a riff with the above guidelines for practicing a musical instrument, another web page, and this one is titled Guidelines for Practicing Loving Bliss, vis-a-vis practicing a musical instrument. And that's also on scottmccloud.com's website /guidelines practicing loving bliss, musical instrument.htm. And here's a related letter in these regards. Loving bliss and practices to elicit this. And at scottmccloud.com /loving bliss practices.htm. I wrote these some years ago and only sometimes explore eliciting loving bliss neurophysiology, e.g. by turning on a specific music as an input or an on-off switch, for example. And it may explore updating these websites further in the future. I'm not sure how one would promote these regarding John's interest in promotion. And I think teaching or education about them might be a similar focus and per the wiki subject or school too. So at World University and School, there's a wiki subject or school titled Loving Bliss, eliciting this neurophysiology at wiki.worlduniversityandSchool.org/wiki/loving_bliss_open parentheses eliciting_this_neurophysiology close parentheses. And you can see this from the main subjects page at World University and School's wiki. Thoughts, regards, best wishes, more later, thanks, cheers. And there's the loving bliss label in my daily blog, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com/search/label/loving bliss. You can read more about this again in the blog post beginning Loch Mialt, Isle of Skye, Scotland, my blog from October of 2025. Agenda item 9B, further with John, a conversation in the Moraga Public Library. After talking with you regarding the Cromarty dialect in Scotland and WUS seeking to create wiki schools in all 7,159 known living languages, where mutual intelligibility is one definition of language, different from a dialect, per the ethnologue, and also World University and School seeking to create wiki schools in extinct languages too, like Cromarty as a dialect. I wanted to learn a little further about the Cromarty dialect and what makes it distinct. I found the Cromarty dialect, a dialect of Northern Scots language spoken in Cromarty, Scotland, is now extinct after the death of its last native speaker, Bobby Hogg, H-O-G-G, in 2012. The dialect was unique for its specialized nautical, sailing, or boating vocabulary, the use of archaic, thee and thou, and an aspirate, H, that could be added or dropped in certain words. How could we develop this Cromarty wiki school at World University and School, this Cromarty dialect of Scots language wiki school at World University and School, to even develop conversational generative avatar agents that speak Cromarty and could come into conversation with people who wanted to learn it, with people who wanted to hear it spoken, and similar. So avatar agents will help with this a lot. Can we give them agency, free will in the process? Stay tuned. Can we give avatar agents agency, tensional causation? Possibly. So blog post beginning Loch Mialt, Isle of Skye, Scotland. Agenda item 10. So I in World University and School continue to grow a worldwide abolition movement to protect people, and at best steam CC licensed open courseware wiki World University and School, worlduniversityandschool.org. encoding for speakers of all 7,159 living languages. And from there, most of all 7.9 billion people on the planet. Created some blog posts in these regards. So World University and Schools Worldwide Abolition Movement to Protect People from Modern Slavery is growing. You can see these blog posts from October of 2025 in both blogs, World University and School.blogspot.com, scott-mccloud.blogspot.com, in the blog post beginning Eagle, Aquila, World University, and check them out. And C2, the blog post beginning from Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, beginning San Francisco garter snake, and regarding Chase Bank, Shadyside community in Pittsburgh, and beginning December 11th, 2023, email correspondence with JP Morgan Chase Bank's CEO, Jamie Dimon, D-I-O-M-O-N, in these regards, as World University and School seeks to grow an abolition movement and potentially in all of 100 countries that Chase Bank has operations in and at Chase Bank, JP Morgan Chase Bank. More about this in the blog post beginning San Francisco garter snake, Thermophis, Tamnophis, I think is the Latin name for this garter snake. Dear Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, and please forward Peter Norvig, ahead of Google AI. Check out these blog posts further and in WS growing a worldwide abolition movement to protect people. Agenda item 11, Google Beam and WUS music schools for all instruments ever, in all languages ever, for real-time music making eventually, in a realistic virtual earth for music making. That's a hashtag. I reposted Kent Walker, a senior counsel at Google, his LinkedIn post with this: for real-time music making eventually, best Steam, Creative Commons licensed open courseware, wiki, World University and Schools music school for all instruments ever, each a wiki subject page or school, and in all languages ever. And for online music making, WUAS, that's a hashtag, would be very interested in Google Beam, which makes video conferencing more and more real, and potentially moves it into multi-dimensions, I think, too. And for WUAS, free to students online, hashtag WS music degrees at the World University Music School, and in a realistic virtual earth for music making, a realistic virtual earth, and see Peter Norvig's incredible Toolify AI WUS article again. And regarding Kent Walker's LinkedIn post, love this one. We'll be piloting Google Beam in select USO centers globally. The 3D video communication platform is AI powered to transform video streams into conversations that make you feel like you are in the same room. So Google Beam, I think, is developing with the US Uniformed Services, the US Armed Services, in interesting ways, which could give it a lot of resources to grow effectively, potentially. And more about this in the blog post beginning Loch Me Out, Isle of Skye, Scotland, at scott-mccloud.blogspot.com. Agenda item 12. What are leading universities studying higher, faster? What leading universities are studying higher, faster, stronger, more supple, yoga genetics, and epigenetics around the world, e.g. for athletes and possibly regarding Olympic athletes or not, and even for yoga asana practitioners, yoga pose practitioners, And I asked this of Gemini AI in a number of ways, in Google AI, and learned much in these regards. There are universities, major universities, focusing on the genetics of higher, faster, stronger, more supple athletics. Performance athletics, it's called, I think. And one is the Wu Tsai Human Performance Alliance, of which Stanford is a lead university. And they have a program that they spearhead titled Elite Exercise at the Limit, Inherited Traits of Endurance Study. And the Boston Children's Hospital is also a lead university. And see related questions in this blog post, Lock Me Out, Isle of Skye, Scotland, HTML, at scott-mccloud.blogspot.com from October of 2025. So moving to the second wing, the WUS Corporation, the second of two wings, the for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, which is an academic press in 7,159 living languages with machine and human translation potentially. Agenda item A. For the WS Educational Services stores and the academic press at WS, and with WS coding for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, each a Wikidata PIN number from you at World University and School to distribute Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency, free money daily. You can get it at mindpi.com/SGKMAC or from an invitation code that you might already have, which you can begin to mine immediately. How could we hack Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency to become a main currency of our online stores? Planned in all 200 countries, both physical and digital stores. And as we seek to code for speakers of all 7,159 known living languages and speakers of all 7.9 billion people. Stay tuned. I wondered whether the opportunity to explore this further would come up in the hackathon, the Hack for Social Impact hackathon this past Saturday and Sunday, November 8th and 9th, 2025. Not this year, maybe next year for World University and School there in that same hackathon, the Hack for Social Impact. A letter in these regards to Roland and Marcia and other organizers at Hack for Social Impact. Agenda item B. The academic press at World University and Schools, WS Educational Services stores, continues to offer these books for purchase. So the title, Light, Float, Sit, Watsu Virtually, Body, Mind, Electricity Sings to Me at Harbin Hot Springs, and Other Traveling Poems, a book of poetry I've published in 2021, not yet translated by the WS Academic Press into other languages. A second book, there are 5 books here in total presently. A second book titled that we offer for sale. So our bookstore, in a sense, is open. Check these books out. The second book's title is To the Dance or the Pools, Virtually. How different it is to soak at Harbin than to realize it in virtual reality. And that was published in 2019 at the Poetry Press at World University and School. Has an ISBN number. And the third title, book, Winding Road Rainbow, Harbin, Wandering, and the Poetry of Loving Bliss, also in the Poetry Press at World University and School from 2018, where rainbow here refers to the Rainbow Gathering, a hippie countercultural gathering that began in around 72 in Northwest Colorado around Boulder, and has been going ever since, although past 3 or 4 or 5 years, it seems to be diminishing. Winding Road Rainbow. How different, sorry, Winding Road Rainbow, Harbin, Wandering, and the Poetry of Loving Bliss. And another title, Haiku-ish and Other Loving Hippie Harbin Poetry. in the poetry press at World University and School from 2017. This is a book, a short book of short haiku-ish. I may even further explore how conversational generative artificial intelligences might edit these very short haiku-ish poems in this book further, regarding some opportunities to work with conversational generative artificial intelligence editing in new ways. And the last book, my very first book from 2016, Naked Harbin Ethnography, Hippies, Warm Pools, Counterculture, Clothing Optionality, and Virtual Harbin in the Academic Press at World University and School from 2016 again. And where you can visit the Harbin Hot Springs Gatehouse in Google Street View at the link also in this blog post for weekly business meeting, WUS weekly business meeting, posted on November 3rd, 2025, beginning Togiak Wilderness area. And where I hope for a 7th book that I'm going to write, a second Harbin ethnographic book project, that we will be able to enter into a realistic virtual Harbin Hot Springs in Google Street View, maybe at the Gatehouse. And you can also presently walk down the road to Middletown, walk in quotations, and add a photo also. So you and I can add photos and videos to Street View and build out virtual worlds potentially from these. All accessible, these books for sale, these 5 books for sale at the WUS Educational Services stores, bookstores, here at the Academic Press at World University and School, and also with Naked Harbin Ethnography available through this page, scottmccloud.com/actual virtual harbinbook.html. You can purchase these books at our distributor and printer online. Check that out as well. Amazon.com/author/Scott McCloud World University, where you can get these 5 books. And these 5 books are also listed on the following webpage, worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html, with an invitation to buy these books. So that's World University and School's WUS News and Question and Answer for both wings of WUS here on Monday, November 10th, 2025, beginning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'll post the recording to youtube.com/Scott McCloud World University/videos. I'll also post the recording on our 2 main Twitter X feeds, World Univ and SCH, and twitter.com/WUAS Press, as well as to the 2 blog posts for today, for World University and School's weekly business meeting, and last week's beginning Togiak Wilderness area, this week's beginning Maroon Bells Snowmass Wilderness in Colorado. So come into conversation with World University and School in a variety of ways, online, social media, email me at president@worlduniversityandschool.org. If you know students who might be interested in World University and School in your country, in your language, let me know. And until next week, Monday, November 17th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Pacific time. See you then. Have a great week. See you soon. Bye for now.